Hello, everyone, and welcome to another scene for Living World of Darkness, Camarilla Vampire Venue. This scene is taking place in the bunker, where most scenes take place here, and uh, Nikki is heading to the unit training room, um, where she's been going to work on her knife skills, and she's hoping to run into Kate.
Right now, Kate is also in the training room and she's working on a dumbbell and just punching it.
Nikki comes in and sees this, and she waits for her a break in her punching before she'll say anything.
Kate notices that someone enters the room, so she finishes her session and ends with a roundhouse kick to the punching bag. And then she'll turn around to see who just entered the training area.
And she'll see Nikki standing there after having seen this roundhouse kick, with a little bit of wonderment on her face, like, ooh, wow. Hello, Kate.
And Kate will adapt her more friendly demeanor and pose and just walk up to Nikki and say, "Hey, Nikki, what are you doing here?"
Oh, well, I come here sometimes to, practice with these, and she holds up a couple of knives. They're throwing knives, actually. So she uses them to throw at targets. And I was hoping to catch you so that we could talk. We hadn't got to really properly sit down and have a conversation. And especially since, what happened yesterday, I figured you might want to talk about that too.
And Kate will just kind of tilt her head. Sure, come on in. What do you want to talk about?
Well, she kind of gives a little bit of a sheepish smile. Arthur told me that you and I would be able to relate about a few things.
And Kate just raises one eyebrow at this. How do you mean?
Well, he said it would have something to do with our sires.
And Kate kind of gets a bit rigid when you mention your sire. Or our
Yeah,
sires.
she's a bit uncomfortable. She's a bit uncomfortable as well. She's kind of she's looking down and is a bit. She's kind of shifting her weight back and forth, and is a little uncomfortable about it too.
Yeah, Kate also is kind of awkward about the fact that someone just said that she might have something in common with the sire that she has. And she will just ask Nikki to come further into the room and just pull out a chair and say, I think it would be best if we were seated for this.
Nikki nods and sits down.
And Kate will just kind of man spread and lean with her elbows on her knees. What did Arthur tell you?
He didn't give me anything specific. He just said that we should talk.
Kate kind of relaxes at that. Well, maybe we should. After all, we were on two missions together, and I don't really know anything about you.
She nods in agreement with that. Oh no. Okay, so this is Nikki's flashback role since it is technically the first scene for the next uptime. So it's not a botch, so she's not stuck in a flashback. Um, but she is very nervous and on edge. Her willpower score is considered a 1 for the rest of the scene. So which plays perfectly into how I've been playing her anyway. So anyway, so she just kind of she'll set the knives down beside her, and she kind of will wring her hands a little bit, and she's nervous.
Kate will look at the hands of Nikki, who she's wringing right now, and she will splay her hands in front of her with the palms up, kind of as a sign from if you want to, you can put your hands in it. I'm not going to touch you, but if you want to or if you need any help, I'm here.
She sees this, and she will go ahead and put her hands in yours and give you a sort of a half smile that has a little bit of relief on there, like, okay, yeah, maybe, this really will be good for us. So.
And Kate will just smile at Nikki and say, we can't let this get to us. We're supposed to be stronger for what happened to us. If we want to thrive and survive, we need to put this past us.
Yeah, I normally go to a support group for domestic violence survivors, but since we've been down here, I haven't been able to go. So I haven't really had anyone to talk to about stuff except for Arthur. So when he said that you might be able to relate, I thought that it would be good.
And Kate nods at this, and she looks over her shoulder and says, I have my own kind of relief. And she will look at the practice yard with the dumbbells and the shooting targets.
Yeah, I've been kind of... That's why I've been coming in here to work with the knives. It helps some. But I've always been a talker. She kind of gives a bit of a awkward chuckle at that. Like, it's just, I don't know. Even when I was a kid, maybe it's how I was raised, but just always talked about stuff.
And Kate will just smile and say, do you want to have a go at it and say we're away?
Sure.
And Kate will get up and keep one of Nikki's hands in her and just walk to the what normally would be considered shooting range. Mm. And she'll turn towards Nikki and asks, how well are you at throwing knives?
All right, I guess. Some nights is better than others. It just depends on how well I can concentrate. And she will pick one up and toss it at a target, and that actually is a very good throw. So she hits the point on the target that she's supposed to hit, and
she hits dead center.
Yeah.
And Kate's eyebrows will just rise a bit.
Even with her being distracted by memories, things like that, she still managed to concentrate enough to throw this knife very well.
Um, Kate will say to Nikki, I had no idea you were that well at throwing knives. I'm kind of jealous.
Nikki gives a smile. It's been kind of a hobby of mine for a long time. Just my therapist a long time ago suggested that I have some outlet for things besides talking, and I saw I was talking with someone at one of my support groups actually, and they suggested knife throwing is better than darts. Uh, so I invested in a set of knives, and uh, I had someone train me on the basics for a while, and then I've just been practicing on my own. And now, since I'm down here, not being able to go to work or anything like that, I have a lot of time to practice.
And Kate will just smile at this and also pick up a knife and for the target and throws it at it. And ooh, she hits as well. That's
Nice.
better.
And Nikki will look at her like, "Yeah, you've done this before."
Kate will turn towards Nikki after she hits the target and say, I decided a long time ago that I would stop being frightened and scared, and instead of that, um, get strong enough to overcome my own demons.
She nods. Most of the time, I'm okay, but I do have triggers still. Like, uh, some say that it's like PTSD.
And Kate will just nod at this, and she will put one hand on the shoulder of Nikki and say, "If you ever need anything, if you ever need help or someone to console you, you can always come to me."
She smiles. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate that a lot. Same same with me. If you ever need anyone, you can come to me.
Well, I hope you're good at stitching people up because I might need you in the future. And she
Well,
will
as
just wink.
she'll say, well, as a matter of fact, I am a veterinarian, so stitching people up isn't much different than stitching up animals.
And Kate will just smile and say, then I'll be counting on you.
Nikki smiles at that. Good. You will be able to.
Um, is there any other way that you get relief from your PTSD?
Oddly enough, books reading helps too. It helps me escape. Uh, so I read whatever I can. So when all of those books were delivered, I took many of them and started reading them.
And Kate will just laugh at this and kind of rub her head with one of her hands and say, well, I don't think I can really help you with that. You might need to go to Arthur.
She nods. Yeah, he's better. But if you can help me with like hand to hand, I'm not quite as good with combat like that. and I figured that learning how to throw a decent punch would probably be a good thing.
It's never wrong to learn how to defend yourself. If it's just used to clear your mind, that's great. But the truth is, we might need it in more direct manners than just for clearing your head.
Yes. Yeah, I understand that. That's why I'm like, probably should learn better. I mean, I probably could, but I can't guarantee how well I would do. Uh, so,
It would really ease my mind if you let me teach you. I was quite frightened for your safety while we were on our mission. I know I can defend myself, but I don't know how well you could fend off someone.
well, I surprised myself in the fight where we lost our prince. I actually did very well with um, using my knife for something else than throwing, um, and I actually killed a few.
And Kate's eyebrows raised up at this. You did?
She nods.
And Kate would just say with a broad smile, great.
Yeah, that's Arthur and I were in that fight together with Gwen. All of us, I think we all surprised ourselves at how well we did, but it wasn't enough to save the prince.
And Kate will just nod at this. Well, I've been teaching Arthur how to defend himself. If you want to, you could join.
She will nod happily at that. Sure, yeah, I'd like that.
Kate kind of looks strict at Nikki, but it really is training. So if you want to just roll around with Arthur, don't do it while I'm here, okay?
No, of course not. Of course not. We can be serious, I promise.
Good. It might be good for Arthur to have you around while training because he's been just goofing off the entire time.
Oh, he has now. Oh, then I might need to be around to keep him in line.
And Kate will just wink at Nikki and say, that will be great.
She will wink back and give a smile.
So, how well are you at hand-to-hand combat?
Well, I took a self-defense course a long time ago, but other than that, not really. I thought about coming in here and punching these bags, and she kind of, points. But I haven't. I think I need someone to show me technique. I don't want to break my hand. I mean, I know that it would heal relatively quickly, but
And Kate will just walk to the closest dumbbell that there is and say, show me what you got.
Alrighty, with all three of my dice. Well, okay, so she walks up and gives it a decent punch, but it's not spectacular. And she probably has bad stance and form, but she hits the bag at least.
Okay. Kate will stand behind Nikki and try to adjust her posture. Okay, look at your arm. Look at your wrist. It should always be straight. It should never bend. This way you won't break your arm or your pulse. What is it? Yeah, your pulse. Whenever you punch a dumbbell. Now look at your feet. If you're punching with your right arm, your left feet should always be up front. And when you punch, you need to put in all your weight. This way you'll give it a bigger impact when you hit it. Do it again.
She takes all of this in, and she stands and she adjusts, makes the necessary adjustments, and she goes to hit, and it's much, much better this time.
And Kate will just smile and say, "Great, great, much better."
Nikki will smile. I've always been kind of a quick learner.
And Kate will just smile and say, "I notice." Is there anything else you would like to learn, like maybe grappling or using swords to fight with?
Her eyes kind of light up at the swords. Yeah, learning how to use a sword would be awesome. That's something I've always wanted to learn. Yeah, a sword would be awesome.
Kate just grins when she notices Nikki's enthusiasm about handling the sword, and she will walk towards the closest rack where there are sparring swords, and they're wooden, so you won't be able to harm anyone with them. But she picks up two and hands one to Nikki. Have you ever held a sword before?
She takes it and she kind of she holds on to it, but it's not with any sort of know-how. She just shakes her head.
Kate will ask Nikki, "Do you want me to show you?"
Yes, please.
And Kate will just stand behind Nikki and show how she should properly grip a weapon and at which height she should always keep it pointed to, so she could either attack or parry a thrust.
And Nikki will listen and, take Kate's instruction.
And Kate will just step away from Nikki and stand in front of her and says, "Stance." And with this, she means how do you need to stand at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And she will inspect how Nikki stands right now with the sword in hand. And she deems it properly, and she now will face Nikki with the same stance as Nikki has presumed. Now attack.
Alrighty. Nope. That's botch.
No worries, they're wooden. Nothing can happen. I'm the only one who got torpid in this room. Kate just kind of swats it aside.
I would say that when she goes to attack, the sword just kind of flies out of her hand, and
you just throw it.
Yeah, she basically just throws it.
And Kate just kind of looks bewildered at the sword that just flew past her. And she looks back at Nikki and back at the sword. I will just walk over to the sword, pick it up, give it back to Nikki, and look her in the eyes. You're nowhere sword fighting right now, right? Not throwing knives.
Yeah, she nods. I don't know what happened. And she's that because she has blush. She's blushing. She's red. As red as she can be without spending blood. But there's noticeable color in her cheeks. She's very embarrassed.
Kate will just try to suppress her laughter and will face Nikki and say, "Try again."
She will compose herself and take the stance and everything and try again. Well, it's not fantastic, but she doesn't drop the sword or throw it.
At my face.
Yeah, she manages to hang on to the sword this time and creates something that could be construed as some sort of attack.
Kate will say, "Good. With practice, you will get better at this." Now assume the stance and get ready to parry.
Blink.
And Kate will just wait for Nikki to assume the stance and give all clear before she attacks.
Yes. She will.
And let me look. Yeah. Ooh, okay. And Kate will nod to signal that she will be attacking and then um, thrust at Nikki.
Okay.
You better not show any ones. Okay. And that will be difficulty 6, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that will be 4 successes. So she hits Nikki's sword
Oh
quite
yeah, she
hard.
does. Um, and Nikki manages to block a little bit. So she doesn't knock the sword out of Nikki's hand when she goes to block her attack. Uh, but you still
She
got way more
cringes.
successes. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a she gives a valiant effort, especially since she's never done it before. So
And Kate looks kind of proud and say, "Great. With practice, it will become easier to grip the sword and to endure thrusts. But for now, you're doing just fine." Arthur let go of his weapon the first time. I attacked him, so you're doing way better than he is right now.
she smiles at that and kind of um, stands a little bit taller. That she did a little bit better than Arthur at something. Just it's not uberly smug or anything, but she's definitely proud of that fact.
Um, is there anything else you would like to learn, or is there anything else you would like to talk about?
She thinks for a moment and she's like, I think maybe for now this is good. um, with the whole thing about we don't have to go into any specifics. We probably just know that it wasn't pleasant for either of us.
And Kate kind of snickers at that. You could say that, all right. And she will walk towards Nikki and hold her hand, palm up, to accept the sword.
And she will place the sword in Kate's hand.
And Kate will walk towards the rack where the swords are stored, and she'll put them in their place. And she'll turn towards Nikki. If you ever want to train with me or spar with me or talk with me, most likely will be able to find me here. If you want to spar with Arthur and for me to be there to give guidance or advice, just say so.
She nods and smiles. I will, thank you. Yeah, I look forward to it. Don't have a lot of friends, so.
And Kate will kind of have a pitying smile, but not just for Nikki, but also for herself, and say, "Yeah, been there, done that." And Kate will walk towards the exit of the sparring room and say, "Well, till soon, I think."
Yep, Nikki smiles towards the exit as well to head back to her room and say, it was good. I'll see you around, Kate.
And Kate will just smile and say, "See you around. Say hi to Arthur for me."
I definitely will.
And Kate will just say bye and walk off towards her own room.
And as Nikki is walking to her room, she will smile to herself and think that that went very well. Even with her being kind of nervous and on edge, Kate managed to put her at ease, and she likes that. So she's looking forward to more sessions training with her and getting to know her better. And that's all I've got.
And this is where we end the scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, listeners, for listening. Goodbye.